Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my glorious co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, it was very good of Adam Peters to drop a press conference literally minutes before we got on the pod. So thanks for that, Adam. Did you not know I was having my tea? I mean, come on, mate. What are you doing there? Well, there's a bit to talk about this week, Scouse. We'll start off with our sponsors and other bits and bobs. So Dunstable Town FC, we are their proud sponsors of Dunstable Town FC's Talk of the Town podcast, which is done by our friend Andy Burrows. So we've sponsored them for this season and next season. And if you're into non-league football, go and check them out. Their link is in our description. And if you're into that and you want to listen to local non-league Step 7 football, give them a shout. On the real one, though, we are delighted this week to welcome aboard a new sponsor of the show. And some of you have been asking myself and Scouse on X and social media about merchandise, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. But we have now an official merchandise product. So if you noticed on the thumbnail, some of you may not have, we've been kindly sponsored by Oddballs. And Oddballs are a charity in the UK. And they produce hats, boxer shorts, sweatbands, towels, all sorts of stuff. They reached out to us via email and said, hey, we like your show. We like what you've done. Shout out to FAO Barda, who put us in touch with Oddballs. So thank you for that. And they've said to us, they're happy for us to carry our merchandise. Should be available on their website in about 3 to 5 weeks. They're currently developing a section for us on there. So if you want to go across to Oddballs, it's oddballs.com. Basically, the premise behind Oddballs is they create merchandise for all sorts of rugby teams, your professional football teams, all the Premier League teams have got them. And they just do bespoke gear, really, for swimming shorts, underpants, all sorts of bits and bobs. We will have hats and T-shirts and the likes on their website.
The main thing. Don't forget the main thing is that they're also...
I'm getting to that. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Yeah, you go ahead, mate.
You're going to carry on. It's like, well, wait, you're going to give the best bit.
Yep, go ahead. You go with it.
Oh, you want me to do it now? Okay, yeah, fine.
Yeah, you go.
For me, this Oddballs also is a charity as well. It does actually give quite a lot of money of the proceeds that they make from any sales. So not just us, but any team's merchandise into mostly for testicular type of charities for males, obviously. But yeah, really, really good charity for men's health, shall we call it? All right, so
it's a testicular. They give it to testicular cancer for men. Obviously, we're not going to, we'll promote them every week we're on the show. But yeah, I know it sounds stupid to some people. We're supposed to be burly men who bottle our feelings up and all that. But lads, if you're out there, do you know what I mean? Check your balls. Make sure there's nothing going on downstairs, because I can tell you from personal experience, when you get a lump, you think, there's something not right here. Go to your GP, get it checked out. Oddballs give 50% of all of their proceeds on anything to the charity, so it's worth looking at. Some have obble hats, as they call them, not bobble hats, and they'll also be carrying our caps. If you want anything bespoke, by all means, reach out to us on X, and we'll look at that too. But yeah, we'll get into a bit of merchandise later, because there's a little bit more on that front. But really excited to have them on board. Really, really excited to have them on board.
Giving us a world exclusive here, mate. With the next
I will, mate. I will give you a world exclusive.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on next.
You see, you don't know what's going on next, but we'll get to that a little bit later on the pod. I'll tease it, and maybe in about 10 minutes we'll go there. Cheers, Aled. Appreciate you being on with us. Cameron in the chat as well. Rod Morrison in the chat. Cameron McDonald on there. Brian, he's always here. So yeah, man, thank you for being there. They're all shouting out Oddball, saying it's fantastic news. It is, and obviously, if you're into sport in any way, I mean, I wear their pants. I'll be honest with you, I already did. I've got a Newcastle Falcons set of pants that I wear quite regularly that are Oddball. So yeah, we're delighted. They do ship worldwide as well, Brian. So it's not just for the UK guys.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they do. So if you want anything that's obviously bespoke, shout out to us on X. Our socials are in the link to the pod, and we'll get you stuff. Don't worry about that. We'll start off with news then, mate. Really, the first one is the top 30 visits. So hi Tony, thank you for being with us. Appreciate you being in the chat. 22 Prospect Scouts went to Top Golf on Wednesday in what is being described as a mixer. The 4 QBs were part of the group: Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix, followed by a casual dinner. AP borrowed this tactic from San Francisco 49ers to get the most information from the prospects. And really, it was determining them, making sure they cross the I's and dot the T's, if you like. It's more efficient, I think, rather than bringing them in as a group of 5 and determining their leadership aspects of how they interact with their peers. Caleb was not there, obviously. Now, prior to this, Scouts, they've had 3 Zoom calls of 1 hour with all of the top 4 or supposed top 4 QB prospects. They've taken place, as well as pro day visits attended and separate 20-minute interviews that took place on Wednesday. What are your thoughts on the mixers, if you want, on how this has gone ahead?
I mean, I like it because it's different. And I know you mentioned the 49ers kind of did it last year or whatever it was, but I didn't know about it. Did you know about it, or from the 49ers, like until recently, until we did it? Like,
no, I didn't know that. No, not at all.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like it, but again, I can see why some people are kind of like, well, what's the point in doing that and putting each other against each other? But the thing is, it's about the competitive juices, isn't it? It's about kind of like how competitive are these quarterbacks? It's things that, because obviously, as you mentioned there, that they've spoke to these guys for hours now. They've had different meetings, they've had Zooms, they've had all sorts of different things. They met at the combines, etc., etc. So there's a lot that they've actually done with these guys and spoke about to these guys. So it's quite nice to see like a different dynamic there. Meeting some of the players. How are you a leader of men? Are you not? Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So your quarterback's got to be a leader. That's one of the biggest intangibles you got to have in my book. Yeah. And so how would he manage, say, one of the more difficult kind of characters we've got in our dressing room, or or even meeting like the quality players like McLaurin or something like that. How do you come across to these guys as well? And I think as a player knows a player. Know what I mean? Skill knows skill type thing. And I just think Peters and the other guys, they're going to get a lot of insight from the players meeting them when they're not in the room themselves. So I think I think it was really, really useful personally, and I like being different and trying something new. So why not?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it is interesting. I've heard it both ways. I've heard the press. Now, bearing in mind, the press are obviously not getting anything out of Commanders Park, out of Ashburn. There's nothing coming out at all to say where we're going. I mean, we're a week away from the draft exactly today, Scouse, and you know as well as I do that basically we would normally have some sort of inclination as to where we're going with our pick. It was someone in the know would have said, listen, we're going to go this way. Absolutely nothing is going out. We don't know. We're guessing. Everybody has no idea what we're doing in the draft, which is brilliant. So for the first time ever, the press have got to go out there and try and fill headlines because the off-field stuff isn't happening. Mm-hmm. So because the off-field stuff isn't happening, I've heard it both negative. Oh, why would you do that? Why won't get them in individually? I've heard that in the press. I've also heard, Pat McAfee today, he was sitting with Bill Belichick. It might have been yesterday's show. I'm not sure. Bill Belichick said, yeah, we've done it before, but with 12 people, and we've got a group in and they've
still can't pick a decent QB. Bloody hell, Bill. What's going on?
I know. Well, apart from Tom, obviously, but hey, there you go.
But they looked out on that big time. Just like the Niners have with Purdy. Yeah, they looked out, man. You can't expect a 5th, 6th round, 7th round dude to produce at the high level. And both those teams have got away with it. Simple as that, man.
But yeah, But yeah, I agree. I agree with Rod here, saying it gives the coaches a real opportunity to evaluate them. Totally agree with you, mate. And Rod's also put in the chat.
People say that it's four guys at once rather than separately. So
well, it was 22 guys in the same room playing golf. You know, top 22 golf.
Guys, was it? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. And then on top of that, you've got obviously interviews individually with them, as you know, a 20-minute interview with them each. And I mean, this is doing the due diligence. This is crossing the T's, dotting the I's, making sure we've got everything in ready to go. And it will confirm what they've got. They've watched enough tape now to understand who these prospects are. They spoke to the college quarterbacks. They've been to the pro days. They've done everything they possibly can to make sure that they get the right decision made. And you're right. I think putting them all in the same room and having the opportunity to go, hey, you know what? And we're going to look at this guy's leadership qualities. We're going to look at what they bring to the table. Because there might be a diva, you know what I mean? They might not like that. There might be, I just want to win on the field. I'll show you what I'm like.
We can talk about somebody's agent in a minute, you know?
Oh, well, we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that, yeah.
But the thing is, as well, what I do like about this four team, both 4 quarterbacks at once, also, again, it doesn't show our hand at the draft. Because,
correct, yeah.
For example, say you went, okay, Drake May comes in first, as in, like, to see us one-on-one. Well, then everyone's going to speculate, oh, Drake May's got to be the guy who's been chosen in first. He's going to be the first QB off the board. You see what I mean? And then what they've gone is, well, no, actually, we're going to get all 4 of them in at the same time and go, well, you still can't pick who we're going to choose. You know what I mean? You still can't. You're guessing what we're going to choose. So, again, another kind of mastermind move, like a Jedi mind trick type thing from Evan Peters, really.
Agreed. Rod's right. He's put in their chat as well. He's a good advice. I'm a regular juggler. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you want to check yourself out, go over to oddballs.com. They will be on there. There's also a guide as to how to do that. So if you need to have a look at yourselves, go over there. But yeah, our merchandise will be on there too. Also joined by Podcast Royalty in the chat here, Mr. Burrows himself. We're here. He said, I'm not here for this long draft talk. I'm not going to talk too much about the draft, mate. I promise you. But no, thank you for being with us.
We appreciate it. A mock up? They put the mock in the system. No,
we're not doing a mock. We're not doing a mock.
Because I destroyed you last week. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was. I've just gone back in my hovel, mate. That's what it is. Yeah. Bit of front. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Jesse JJ at 2. Yeah, wow. Here we go. But a bit of front office news. Then we'll talk about that. So Dave Gardy is joined as Senior Vice President of Football Initiatives. Gardy joins after working with the NFL League front office for 21 years. He was Senior Vice President of Football Operations for 10 years, oversaw league rules and administration on game day while in the head office role. He also dealt with the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA. It included players' contracts, salary cap, club discipline, and league policies for working on compensation. Gardy is going to handle the in-game management duties, support the coaching staff and front office on compliance with the league protocols, officiating trends, and health and safety guidance. I mean, what do you think of this hire? I mean, I've heard nothing but good things on this.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, Jesse and did our bunker podcast on Monday, and I was always like, oh, this guy's a plant and all the rest of messing around. Now, the thing is, I mean, this guy at that time, I had no idea who the hell he was. He literally just signed the guy at that point. Maybe they should have signed him. Yeah. Now, when you read more about him, when you're kind of listening to what people talk about him, as you said before, it's always great news. It's always really good things. This guy could have had his pick of anywhere if he wanted to move on. He's been kind of tried to be poached before, but never wanted to leave where he was. He's also a stud. He's also a stud with the cap. But his biggest thing is the NFL refereeing rules. That's his main kind of real skill. And so this guy basically he's the guy teaching the refs how to do it. That's the level this guy is. So he's going to be doing our kind of in-play gaming. You know what I mean? He's going to be there in the booth. Hey Dan, challenge this one now. Straight away, no messing around, no fanning around, because he knows exactly what is a catch, what isn't a catch, and he knows exactly what we're doing. We're under Ron Rivera. We didn't have anyone the last season, and then the guy before that, absolute joke. So
and I mean,
Bruce Allen. You couldn't even
if you think
anything. So, I mean,
if you think about the way it's working with this one, Scouse, I think it's great because I mean, look at the overtime rules. You know, when we got to the Super Bowl, 49ers didn't really know what they were doing about whether to have the ball, not have the ball, what happens with this. Plus, we've also got the new kickoff rules coming into force this year, and this guy. He wrote the rules.
Yeah, he wrote the rules. Exactly. Yeah, we've got the guy who actually teaches the refs what the hell's going on, and this guy's going to be in-game player, an in-game the decision maker on certain things during game. So, I mean, you can't. I mean, from one thing about Josh when he first came along, his first press conference was, "We're going to surround our team with the best available people, the best people." And to be fair, I don't think he hasn't lied at all. He's gone in there. You can sell. He spent shitloads of money to be able to bring.
100%.
I mean, these guys' salaries aren't going to be cheap. And it's throughout the team. It's throughout the backroom staff. It's just quality after quality after quality. And this guy, they made up some term for him just to get him in because of how good his skill set is. It's just like, no, we need to get you in. And and that's, you're probably getting paid shed loads as well. But we got 100%. The best in the business. We got the best in the business doing it. So I mean, I'm buzzing with this. To be fair, I mean, one day didn't know much about him, but then when you start reading into him, he looks like he's the real deal, man.
He does, and I mean, looking at what he's going to bring to the table, it's great. And I'll get onto that in a minute because the second person we've got, and shout out James Lowe, evening mate, nice to see you. Rod as well has said, I think this guy will be influencing and helping the QB. Yam, thanks for being with us. Appreciate you. Don't worry about napping, mate. Nice to see you. Appreciate you being in here. The next person we signed is a guy called Curtin Mater. Josh Harris is adding an experienced political player in the front office to help find a new home for the franchise. So he's a former top Senate aide, and he'll help navigate the politics of moving a team from Maryland to a parcel of land that's owned by the federal government. Does it mean that we're going to return to RFK, Scouts? I'm not sure, but it might be a bit closer. But it's what Harris has done throughout his tenure, is what you were saying. I'm going to surround myself with these people. I'm going to get what I can there, and I'm going to do what I can. His past, Curtin's past has been he was the chief of staff for Senator John Hickenlooper, who's a Democrat, and he's also worked with Governor Phil Murphy, who's a Democrat, and Senator Joe Manchin, who's also a Democrat. Not bothered about his politics at all. But because I don't really understand the whole of it out there. But
he's got contacts. That's basically what this guy's about. He is the way in, man. He is the way in to see the big boys to make the big decisions to get this land, to get stadium, get funding, all the rest of it. So, hopefully this guy will do his job well and get us somewhere nice in DC somewhere. But we'll see.
So his first task is going to be to get the House passed legislation through the Senate, and then it'll allow Mayor Bowser to negotiate with Josh Harris on obviously the potential package for a stadium on the old RFK site. That's what his main whole sole purpose of being here is. And as you said before, to your point, Scouse, it's going back to what Josh Harris has done. Let's look at it in the grand scheme of things. I don't have an analytics guy. Eugene Shen comes in. Okay, what do I need to make sure I've got the best general manager in the game and the best head coach in the game? Okay, I'm going to hit up the former Minnesota GM, and I'm going to get a guy who's won a dynasty of an NBA basketball championships. I'm going to get them both in because they know what I need in a coach and what I need in a general manager. Brilliant. Then you look at it and go, okay, what else am I going to surround myself with? Well, I've got this guy who's analytical, knows all the rules, writes all the rules from the head office. I'm going to get that. Then when Adam Peters comes in, okay, Adam Peters, what do you need? Well, actually, boss, I need an assistant GM. Okay, let's get a long-time assistant GM who's done the job in Lance Newmark. Perfect. Then we get Dan Quinn. Then we get ex-Super Bowl, not ex-Super Bowl, ex-head coaches in on positional line coaches. We have a plethora of coaching staff that's like star-studded, which is amazing. And then you say to yourself, okay, great. Now what do I need to surround myself with? Well, I need a new stadium, so I'm going to get a political ace who knows a few contacts in the game. Because it's clear, Harris doesn't know how the NFL works. And I've seen also people kicking off on Twitter saying, oh, Josh Harris is in the draft room, or Josh Harris is watching these top 30 visits. Of course he is. He's just paid $6 billion for a franchise, and he doesn't know how the system works.
Room, as long as he doesn't get in the way, that's the main thing. But who cares if he's in the room, As long
Absolutely.
as Dan Snyder did, but Brian, he says here the legislation's already in Machin's committee at the moment. So again, they're already making the moves already. So again, even nice. And then obviously James Lowe says lobbying's so crucial in DC. Again,
of course it is, mate.
Well, it's the most political town in America and probably the world, to be fair. So yeah, man, lobbying's all about it, man. You know, you got to have money as well. Got to have money to throw around those boys. Otherwise, you get nothing. So.
Yeah, Yams nailed it there. He said, I can't wait for RFK2. All the Maryland peeps who complain about the travel time can shove it in the room, observing, learning, nothing more. That's what Josh Harris is doing.
You've had it for 30 years, wherever it is. you've had the team for 30 years. You can now travel if you want to come to watch
It's time to move back. On this, though, we actually had a question submitted on this from Richard Cameron. He's at Mr. Rich Cameron on X. So go and give him a follow if you want to have a like-minded Commanders fan. He said, Josh Harris has made a couple of intriguing hires this week by bringing in Dave Gardy and Curtin Mader to the front office. Harris has talked about winning around the edges in the cap-driven team. What outside-the-box move would you guys make to create a game day marginal gain? To create a marginal gain, I would have a chief groundsman who can make our turf a lot better than what it is. Someone from like soccer, the Premier League, the top groundsman, that sort of thing, who can come in and physically grow a bit of grass and say, there you go, put that down, stop people getting injured.
Yeah,
that's a game day marginal for me.
I think that would have been. I think, to be fair, that was something I would have said, to be fair, as well, about the grass. You know, it's all well and good being on AstroTurf, but it's rock hard. You know, you land on that. Okay, you got pads on, but then you got another 300-pound guy jumping on you as you're on the floor. You're going to get crushed. You know, there's no give in the ground. It's rock solid. You know what I mean? So from my point of view, you know, if you can make it an actual real grass, actual playing surface and make it like a bowling green, like it is in the Premier League. You know, these pitches are looked after 24/7. You know what I mean? Like there's no mistakes. You know, during the season, just be absolutely perfect with it. You know, and then relay it every year if you have to. You know, it costs about $500,000 to kind of relay a full field. I know that's in English money for a Premier League stadium, and it'll probably be something similar in the States. Now, what's $500,000 to you know, Josh Harris or boys? You know, it's like a penny to us in his pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
you know, so yeah. I mean,
well, do you know what was mad, Scouts? Is I looked at this right before he signed with and bought the Washington Commanders. His net worth was around about $7 billion. And I was like, okay, it's worth about $7 billion. All right, he's going to have to find a firm, find people to go in with him, which he did. Mitch Rails, Magic Johnson, and Mark Ine, everyone else in the ownership group. And then you go, okay, we've got the hog ownership group, as I'm calling it. Now, when you look at his net worth, he's $8.9 billion. Okay, yeah, fine. Money goes to money, mate. That's how it works, bud.
Money makes money, man, and that's exactly how it is. Money makes money, and exactly, you know, and the thing is, as well as that, it's all well and good having like this amazing all-star coaching team, head coach, front office, like probably one of the best in the NFL, probably now, as long as they all stay on the same page. Yeah. Then why? The field should be the next most important thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now it's about the product on the field. And that includes the field. Do you know what I mean? It includes the field. So rather than having like real shit quality ground where your players are getting hurt, they're doing ACLs all the time. How many guys have been injured in our turf? You know, what do we call it? Is it the ghost end or something like that? Where there's always one end that everyone just gets hurt all the time, blows ACLs and all the rest of it. So for me, get it real grass, get some real actual guys you look after for like 24/7. Do you know what I mean? Like you do in the Premier League, and you can get so much information from reaching out to the guys who look after the top Premier League grounds. You know, what kind of mix it needs to be, how much seed, how much this and that, how much sunlight it needs. All that shit can be learned.
Of course, it can.
And you do a great job of it. You know, so that's next. So everyone's going to have great players, but if they're not available because they're injured because they turn an ankle on some shit field.
Yeah.
It's not.
I will point out here. Shout out to my team, Carl United, who have just been relegated to League Two. Dave Mitchell, our groundsman, gets he gets groundsman of the year, and he's had that 7 years on the spin. So if you want to learn from anyone, go and see Dave Mitchell. Mate, our pitch is like a bowling green. I swear to you, it is unbelievable. Mate, our pitch.
Absolute horrible team.
Yeah, so Rod's put in the chat. He said it's like being a hooker on a winter pitch at the bottom of a rock, bloody painful. And James Lowe obviously is put in. Yeah, we've all been there. So for those in rugby terms, James Lowe summed it up for there, saying hooker is a rugby position for our American cousins. Yes, we will stick to that. Now, teased it long enough. There's 2 things coming up on the pod in the next few weeks. Scouse, you have no idea about this, but the first one is we're going to give back to people here. So, you've asked about it a little bit. We'll have some merch. We have a burgundy snapback, if you can see it there, with the Washington, with the 1 Point Safety Show and Washington logo. I know, and we also have a beanie as well in burgundy that's there. So, if you want to win these, you can win the burgundy hat, which is a snapback, or you can win the burgundy beanie. All I want you to do is I want you to like, subscribe, and post a comment at the bottom of the YouTube video. And obviously, if you're listening to the pod, please, you can also get involved in this. Just write a comment on the bottom of the pod, like it, and subscribe. How long
is it? Like 24 hours, something like that?
1 week. One week for this. Yeah, 1 week for this. So, in fact, I'm not going to give them a week. I'm going to say next Wednesday is the cutoff. So next Wednesday, the 24th at 3 p.m. Eastern is your cutoff time. What we're trying to aim for is 200 likes on this video. Okay. Now, if you want to win, put the comment after, and the comment will be who you thought out of the top 4 quarterbacks won at Top Golf. So just put JJ, put in JD, something like that on a comment. And what we'll do is we'll collate all the comments and all the names of people who have commented on YouTube. We'll put them into a random wheel generator, and you'll have 2 opportunities when we spin the wheel on draft night on next week's pod. And if your name comes out, we will send you the merch free of charge. So it's completely free. It's time to give back to our loyal fans. We get people all the time in the chat on here. We get lots and lots of people download throughout the UK. So yes, if you want the hat, snapback burgundy, or you want a bobble hat for winter. So if you're in the States and you win it out there, you've got a winter hat or you've got a summer hat, whichever way you want to go around it. If you're in the UK, exactly the same. I mean, look at Scousey's snapback. He's rocking it really cool on there.
This one,
I just don't look good in a hat. I wear a bobble hat in the winter and the poor weather, but I don't look good in a bobble hat.
I look I'm driving 24/7. I look like with this, but it is what it is.
But yeah, put a comment underneath this video on YouTube. And if you put a comment underneath this video on YouTube, we'll put you in the random generator wheel, and you'll have 2 opportunities to win.
Do it after the live show, because obviously
when the show ends, yes, after the live show.
We're like,
exactly
after the show, guys. Yeah.
So like, subscribe,
put it
in, and go for it.
I didn't know about
that's brand new.
Yeah.
And to drop a bit of a tease, we may have another player guest in a couple of weeks, Scouts.
Oh, okay. What, like signed sealed?
Possibly. I am talking through timing. I'm talking. It's almost signed sealed. I'm just talking at a time that we need to get on with the person. So it's all done. I'm not telling you who it is. I'll tease that one out as well. I'll tell Scouse after the show, and we'll go from there. But yeah, we're looking forward to that one as well. So hopefully another player interview for you to listen. So if you want to look like Scouse with the hat on, or you want to look like FAO Barder, who's also got our hat, get out there, like, subscribe, comment underneath the YouTube when we finish the live stream. Comment underneath who you think won the top golf out of the 4 quarterbacks, and we'll get that sent out to you off a random wheel generator. You got 2 chances to do it, and the random wheel will be on next week's show. Anyway, so that's it. I've teased that long enough, so we'll get on to that. Really, Scouts, mate, there's not a lot else to talk about, really, apart from on the field stuff. But we've got loads and loads of fan questions here. So Scott G was our first fan question he put in. He is
is he?
He's not here today. He said he couldn't be on, bless him. He said, at 20G Dog, he said, I know I'm early, but a topic for tomorrow. What's on the draft party menu? Especially important for you UK guys, as need to keep you at Scouse and Burrows awake through the first round. Now, that's everybody in the UK. So Lowy, Rod, Alid, we all know what it's like here, mate. It is an absolute grind getting through this. But what's on your draft menu, Scouse? Or do you have a draft menu?
Well, I mean, if I'm on my own, I'm not going to sit there drinking. You know what I mean? Like, as in alcohol. But, if obviously I'm out with the lads, it's a bit different. But if I'm just sitting on my Todd watching it, which might be the case this Thursday, then it's got to be the energy drinks. It's got to be the Red Bull. It's got to be the
coffee.
Coffee, exactly. Got to keep ourselves awake, man. Because say if it finishes about 5-6 o'clock in the morning for us. Pretty brutal, isn't it, man? How long it takes?
Well, if you remember a couple of years back, we went to Edinburgh for the draft party. The only place we could have the draft that had a late license for alcohol and was able to show it was the casino, and we got kicked out of the casino at 6 o'clock, and there was still 4 picks to go.
Yeah, exactly. It was a nightmare, man. So yeah, man. I mean, I've taken the Friday off, David.
So have I.
David Benson's taken Thursday to Sunday. Why do you take Thursday off for, man? I mean, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning start for us. What are you doing?
I just took Friday off.
Take the Friday, man. Yeah. Take the Friday. But yeah,
I think I'll dip home straight to bed, have a couple of hours kip, and then up again, and then it's like, what we're going to do. But yeah, it's pretty much to go back to Scott G's question. For me, it's pretty much standard. Right, I'm just going to have snacks and energy drinks, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, definitely.
I missed that Scouse as well.
Amphetamine, I said, but yeah, some of those. But gotta be chicken wings as well. So yeah, I mean that's a good shout, that Rod. To be fair, might get
chicken wings. That's my Super Bowl. That's my Super Bowl thing is chicken wings. I always
I tend to do that. I tend to go all American for the Super Bowl. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'll see.
So talking of Rod, Rod has put a question into us. He said at Rodmore 39721910. He said, so we have in reality had a mini QB Pro Day with the QBs in the conversation visiting to let the coaches see them up close. It's a pretty clever idea to finish off at Top Golf to see the interaction, but a friendly, competitive environment. So who won on the day? Who do you think won on the day?
I mean, I don't know. I've not read it. Do you know, dear? Do you know for sure who wins?
Oh, right, no idea. No one's mentioned it.
Yeah, no one's find it out, man, because these guys are going to comment that in the actual in the comments. We need to know who won.
You do, yeah. Well, no, just guess. Obviously, just guess. Do you know what I mean? Alid, our Welsh friend, he's at Wales Commanders. He said he's up early, tendering to the sheep. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Running away from you, mate, walking like John Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who won, but I think we covered that, Rod, already. But I think it's a good idea to have them all together. You know what I mean? It filters that through.
I think Drake May's actually meant to be a really good actual proper golfer. So that'll be interesting because a lot of the guys do like golf, especially the coaches and the head coach as well. I think Dan likes a little bit of golf. So
Tress Way, man, he's a very good golfer by all accounts.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of good dudes, man. You know, even John Allen's pretty decent as well. So you know, there's quite a few guys out there in our team who are good at golf, like.
Yeah, so we've gone to our next couple of questions, and they were kind of grouped together. So Alison Lombard, who is at Alison Lombard, that's AYYALLYSINLOMBARD. She said, "What do you think about the Bachelorette style?" top 30 visit. And then Darren Hatherley from the UK, he is at Darren Hatherley, said thoughts on bringing the top QB prospects together at the same time. Lots of talk on this. I mean, it's a bit of a strange concept, as we talked about before, but Bachelorette style, I don't think there was speed dating Alison, to be honest with you. I don't think there was like, right, next, time's up, bing, on to the next one. But yeah, it would have been quite funny actually seeing that. But
imagine like one guy's like Peter sitting at one side of the table, and then one of the quarterbacks come walking in, sit down, and there's a buzzer there in front, and then Peter just goes, "Damn, now you're gone, bro."
Exactly. Next,
you're gone, you know. But yeah, man.
Michael Penix's like, oh, I just want to draw that play. Oh dear me. Yeah. Hiya, Scott. Nice to see you, mate. Appreciate you being in with us.
I viewed you before, Scott, because you weren't there, man. We answered your question already.
We answered your question about chicken wings, and it's basically energy drinks for what you've missed. That's what we have on draft night because it's really, really late. 1/2 start, Scouse by all accounts, and no doubt about it, because obviously Keith went last year to Keith Gray and the Hog Farmers. They all went out last year to Kansas City to go to the draft.
Oh, and this year as well.
And yeah, they're going this year to Detroit as well. He said that basically it's not that part is scripted, but the first pick is always kind of scripted. And they want the team that's got the first pick to hold on as long as possible to pretty much the end of the time. So then it's like, oh yeah, the pick is in, so that they can build the audience up, obviously, throughout the US and that's and the world, and that's kind of how it goes. Our next question then is Tony Shivers, who was in the chat before. Shout out to Tony, top dudes. We met him a couple of years back in DC when we went out there. Great guy. He said, which coordinator or assistant coach hire has been your personal favorite?
It's interesting this one. I'm still gonna go for the Seattle's linebackers coach. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name? Horton.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? I can't forget his name. Top of my head. The Ken Norton. Ken Norton Jr. Yeah, Ken Norton. Yeah. Yeah. So Ken Norton for me, Tony. I think I say he knows what a linebacker actually does, which is going to be refreshing because obviously our 2 linebacker coaches from last year and the 4 years before were absolute dung. So yeah, I mean I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I can't wait to see Bobby Wagner on the field. I can't wait to see how good this linebacker core should be with good coaching and actually 2 big time upgrades in what we've got. So yeah, for me it's Ken Norton.
Yeah, I'm going to go slightly different. So you're going to say Anthony Lynn is my favorite hire. Ex-head coach. I just think he can get the best out of what he's got there. I think he can get the best out of B-Rob. He can scheme people into the right positions. He can scheme people around what they're good at. You know, if you are a straight bruiser run through like Christian Rodriguez is, that'll be fantastic for him to go forward and do that. Also, bringing in Austin Eckler as well, who he's coached before. That'll be, do you know what I mean? That'll be very, very good there. And funny enough, Tony's put in the chat, he said, right, what a concept. Coaches, you know what a linebacker is. You're absolutely right. I was talking about this the other day. When you think about what we've done in the offseason, you look at a position group like linebacker. We've gone from pretty much what was our worst group on the entire roster to now being pretty much solid and one of our best looking groups on paper. Obviously, we don't know what they're going to be like, but yeah. Joe Witt Jr. as well, Rod. Absolutely. I mean, I like all the coaching hires so far. The only one we had a bit of a question on was Johnson, obviously as O-line coach, because we didn't exactly know how he's got on. He didn't get on very well at the Giants, but yeah, I mean, that'll be an interesting one moving forward. But he said the right things and he's doing the right things by all accounts. So I can't argue with who they've picked up. I think
these guys a shot, haven't you? Let's face it.
Of course we have.
Your Giants who don't like you. It's like, no, I mean, obviously you didn't do. First season wasn't too bad. Second season was pretty grim, and then he got fired. So again, but there's a lot of turmoil over there with the Giants.
Exactly.
Daboll losing his shit over there. Really is. He still is now. I mean, I don't
Wink
think
Martindale going, and you're like,
I don't think Daboll lasts the season. I think he gets fired mid-season. I really do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Richard Cameron has put another question into us. He said, which of the prospect draft QBs do you think won at last night's Top Golf? Obviously, what we're asking people to do is like, subscribe, and put a comment in the video description after the stream has ended. And if you do that and you tell us who you think won the Top Golf, you can win the hat or the beanie. So yeah, for those who haven't seen, we are plugging that, and you'll have them for free. That bit of merch there.
Includes our American audience as well. We would send
it does. We will send it over to whoever you are. We'll reach out to you and on socials, get your details, and we'll get that sent out to you as soon as we possibly can. He's also said here, what do you think of AP and DQ actually looking for, having the leading draft QBs meeting all at the same time? I think we've already covered that, haven't we?
Yeah.
What do you think they were looking for?
I like the way it's it's different compared to what most teams do. And it just shows a different side of the players as well, because they're going to have that bravado. They've got to show that I'm the alpha. But the thing is like, when you're doing it for over a period of like a full day, 24 hours with all these guys, sometimes you let your guard down, and that's when you kind of, especially when you're feeling more, when you feel tired, actually, you actually start to let your guard down a little bit, because you're not constantly thinking about what you're saying, and you're just acting and reacting to what's going on around you. And I think they want to know, can these guys handle it? Do you know what I mean? And I think like hanging out with a lot of the players, I say, it's kind of, can they create those friendships, those bonds straight away, or they kind of aloof, or it's all about kind of just knowing their personality when the guards dropped. And I think having them all out there at the same time, yes, can put the backs up a little bit, but other times I think as well as that, it's getting to know them four to know each other as well. So I think there's different. There's always different angles you can look at it. I mean, you mentioned the two fools from NFL. The guys who hate Washington, Florio and
that's
Sims.
exactly where I was going. Yeah, Florio and Sims.
Yeah, I'll let you speak about that then, mate. I mean, it's just a joke, but go on.
Yeah, that's the way we spoke earlier about it, and it was just, I've seen the negative side of it. Why would you get these together at the same time? They're never going to play together. We know that, dumb doofus, but there's 22 other people in the bloody room, and you've got to understand what this guy's going to be like in a locker room full of guys who are older than them, more experienced than them, more alpha than them. You can't be just this quiet leader. Quiet leadership works at times, but you're the franchise face of this organization. Whoever we pick is going to be the next franchise face of this organization. Shirts will be going off the sale racks. They will be gone, snapped up. If this is the future of what this team has to bring to the table, your number 2 overall draft pick, you got to lead from the front. So that's probably what they're trying to look for. So I don't buy into, what Florio and Sims says. I mean, come on now.
They're just genuine haters of Washington. They really are.
Absolutely.
Especially Florio. I mean, he's really bad for it. I mean, like, at least Sims once in a blue moon says something positive. But Florio just hates us. But
we
know that. He's gone.
With Florio, we could win the Super Bowl, and he could say he didn't do it in the right way. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's just that kind of guy.
He cheated with the refs or whatever. Well, some BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Aled also put a question to us. He's Wales commander Aled.
Before we go on that, mate. Before we go on that, there's some comments there. Scott G. He says, I need to do something besides harassing scouts to get swag? This is total BS. Yeah, man, you got to earn it over here, bro. Got to earn this shit.
Absolutely. I'm with Yam as well. I don't care who the QB is. I still won't buy a QB jersey.
No point, man, is it? Because the last like 2 years we've done. So yeah, man, it's grim. It really is. That's where you gotta pick a legend, Sammy Ball or something like that. If you're gonna get a Washington QB's jersey.
Well, he's also put on here, I just need my UK Commanders hat. Well, wait for 3 to 5 weeks and go to our corporate merchandise sponsor Oddballs, and you can buy yourself a bobble hat or a cap. They'll be live on there.
Or he could win. He could win the.
Or he could win it. He could win this. He could win the prize draw. Or if you speak to us nicely, we'll see what we can do. If you want a bespoke one, you know what I mean. If you want something that's not like, we're not going generic on Oddballs, it'll probably be in burgundy and gold colors. I think we're likely to do the black black and gold, and also the away colors as well of white.
Yeah, we are for real, y'all. We are for real, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
things sorted out for our boys who love the show.
It's time to give back, isn't it, to people who supported us for a long time, Scouts, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
Wales Commander Aled, who's in our chat with us, or he was in our chat with us, he said, "What's your tipple whilst you're watching the draft?" I think we covered that as well. It's energy drinks. Aled, I need the Red Bull, mate. It's very early.
That with Burrows, it's going to be.
It'll be Jaeger bombs, and it'll be lager.
Sugar, and then obviously get drunk with it as well. So
yeah,
that'd be Burrows' choice. Oh, I'll see you.
Yeah, he's in. Good stuff. We've got a question as well on X from Glasgow Skins, David, who's on in the chat with us as well. He is at Glasgow Skins. He said, "What are your thoughts on Jayden Daniels' agent's social media activity over the last few days? Big deal or no reason for concern? Basically liking posts questioning us having all 4 quarterbacks there at once."
I mean, that's
that's the Florio interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally his prerogative. At the end of the day, him as an agent, what his job is to get Jayden higher up than anybody else. Why? Because that makes more money for him and more money for the agent. So he's going to go, oh, something a bit rough here, something a bit ropey here. Well, I'm going to try and, I'll try and send the kind of message that, we're not happy with this and this shouldn't be happening. But the thing is, it's like, this is when agents really get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They get their 15% or whatever it is that they
No. Do you know what's interesting? Do you know what's interesting here is, funny enough, I watched a it's a podcast basically. It's the Sky Sports podcast with Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane's on there, and so's Ian Wright. It's a football one, but they had JJ Watt on. Right. Oh, okay. And JJ Watt was talking about like the difference between being an investor in Burnley Football Club and what it's like in the NHL and in the NFL. And he was saying, basically, he was talking about agents' fees. And he said that it's a flat rate agents' fees throughout the NFL. And I didn't know that you can only make 3% of your client's contract. Oh. So if you are like the top number 1, number 2 overall quarterback, yes, you are right, Scouse. You're going to get paid a bomb. But if you're Kirk Cousins' agent, cha-ching, cha-ching, you know what I mean? Or if you are Patrick Mahomes' agent, you're going to do quite nicely out of these deals, when they get re-signed. So really,
that low. I thought minimum 10. I thought minimum maybe 10 to 15.
And guess who came up with that rule and through the collective bargaining agreement? Oh, that's right. It's our guy, David Gardy.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's smart though, because that actually takes out the agents trying to milk the kind of other contracts from other teams. Yeah, it still happens. Sure, go to Pittsburgh instead in the second contract because it's 30 million more than these guys here. Even if the player doesn't want to go, I see that happen a lot with agents because they still want to get their cut, as you say. Even if it's 3%, But yeah, man. I mean, it's nice to kind of have that where you can't strong arm the actual player.
Yeah, I know.
For example, like in football, Ronaldo's agent, for example, he was getting something like 70 million just for getting Ronaldo signed for this team. It's insane.
Wow. What in Saudi?
And that wasn't even out of Ronaldo's cash. That was like, no, the club are paying that on top of the money Ronaldo is getting paid. It's insane. Yeah, and so if you want Ronaldo, I'm his agent. You've got to get me to sign off on it. And Mino Raiola, his name is Mino Raiola. Yeah, he strong arms everybody, or did strong arm everybody. Passed away, didn't he? Last year, I think it was. But
yeah, I think it is.
His team is still still strong arming clubs all the time. So and there's no flat fee there. That's like no. It's 3% in the NFL is actually quite a nice little thing. So,
yeah, madness. I mean, for me, the Florio interview, I get it. I get what his agent's trying to do, but a bit of a doofus move for me. He's a bit of a douche for doing that. I mean, everyone can see what they're trying to do or why they were trying to do it. I mean, if you actually had a brain and thought about it and thought, well, you know what? I'm not going to get the individual prospect through the door to generate media, to generate clicks. This is the way it's been throughout the whole of this draft process. Nobody knows anything. For all we know, we could trade back. We could pick up the best defensive lineman, the best offense. I mean, Joe Alt could be the number 2 overall pick. Who knows what we're going to do? Nobody knows what we're going to do. So obviously he's trying to do things for his client, isn't he? But I get what he's trying to do. As a
scenario, maybe Jayden doesn't want to play for us.
Possibly.
Obviously, he's not going to come out and say that. But the thing is, it's like, okay, as an agent, what can I do very cryptically that doesn't destroy Jayden or himself that bad, but would piss us off? Do you see what I mean? As in, like, as an ownership or Peters or whoever. Do exactly what he did. Agent just a very cryptic thing of liking what someone ripping us for doing all 4 at the same time. So then what happens? I mean, he wants to play for New England.
Maybe he wants Vegas to trade up for him or Minnesota to trade up for him.
Did you read about it? His agent, Jayden's agent, was saying, I'm not even allowing him to see Minnesota because they wanted to take him out for a 30 visit, and he's like, no, because he's not going to be able to go. he believes that Minnesota haven't got enough capital or have the balls to actually go up to the top 3 to get him. So I'm saying we're not wasting Jaden's time. Now, since this fourth thing, what's going on? He's now going to go and visit with Minnesota. So
I saw that.
So what's this? You know what I mean? Like there's so much, mind
smoke and mirrors, mate. Smoke and mirrors,
so much, man. So much. Yeah, I mean, I agree. What AP said tonight, we're staying at 2. Okay, so we're definitely going to stay at 2. So that's great. Now it's all about who we choose. But what happens though? If someone comes in and says, "I'll give you 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years or 3 years," what do you do with that?
You can give 3. You can give 3 as a maximum, as in going the years on, and then if you've already got 2, I think
you can do 3 years in a row, can't you? It's like 3
yeah,
years.
you can. Yeah, 3 years. But if you already had 2, like you were Arizona or you were Minnesota, then yeah, I suppose I can see where you're coming from. I completely see where you're coming from. It's got to be the Godfather. It's got to be the Godfather deal, though, hasn't it? It's got to be an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it would be, though. A number 2 pick with these type of quarterbacks on the board.
Agreed.
If anything like that was going to happen somewhere at any time in any NFL draft, it could be this one. Do you know what I mean? So
it could be. Jesse said, "Who do we think won Top Golf?" It was JJ McCarthy. He's just trying to wind you up, Scouse. That's what he's doing there. But JJ McCarthy, you are literally going to flip your table. I tell you what, though, I will probably be on a live chat with Scouse at some point, maybe via WhatsApp or something. We'll record it just in case JJ is picked. I just want to see that reaction.
Wait, there won't even be a reaction, mate. I'll just turn my phone off.
I was thinking the same.
You might see me throw it against the wall. That's what you might see.
But, yeah,
it's a joke.
I know. Tony Wheat in our chat. He is at Tony J Wheat. He said he is also a writer for Full Press NFL. You can find his work on at Full Press NFL. He said, should Jaden Daniels fire his agent?
No. No. His job is to do the best by Jaden. He doesn't care who he plays for, but it's all about what Jaden wants. If Jaden wants to play for the Pats, well, how'd you piss us off, like I mentioned before, and doing what he did? Jaden didn't do it. It's not on Jaden. It's on his agent. You know what I mean? So, which might make him drop one spot, which is exactly what Jaden might want. But again, we're guessing, we're speculating. We don't know. But
no one knows, do they? No one knows.
It's always. Agents always going to do best by their player. So,
of course they are.
Yeah. He's not getting fired, mate. No chance.
No, he's not. Cameron McDonald, who was in the chat earlier, he's had to drop out. So shout out to Cameron McDonald. He works very, very late. So he said he'll catch the rest of the pod in the morning. He is at FK Commander Fam. He said, I'm afraid, as usual, early rise for work stops me watching the whole pod, but I'll catch it on the way to work. So a non-draft related question for both of you. What made you Redskins fans?
Oh, guess he's not heard our stories then, no?
No, probably not.
No. Well, say, well, for me, it's like my brother's like 12, 13 years older than me.
Shout out to Ian, who's in our chat, by the way.
Ian's usually in the chat. Doesn't speak too much on here, but yeah, he's always listening in. And he was a Redskins fan because why? Well, let's face it, Redskins were good at that time. Basically, he was. When it first came over to UK, it was about like early 80s, 84, something like that, 83, something like that, when we first started seeing it on local TV over here, just once a year or something like that. It wasn't very often, but we did get a couple of friendlies, didn't we? Remember those friendlies we used to get over here, or pre-season games they call them in the States. But yes, so from there, I mean, and also I've got my uncles are actually different teams, like Niners and I think Miami. I think are the two, because Dan Marino and all the rest of it. When my brother went, okay, then I'm going to go and be a team who were actually good at that time, and obviously we were good at that time. And obviously he supported them ever since, and obviously got me into it. I was around really. My first kind of thoughts about was really the 91 Super Bowl. Yeah, I was young. I didn't really know much about it. But I think how old was I then? About 8. Yeah, I think it's about 8 then when that happened. So I didn't know much about it, what was going on. But that was last time we saw success, and we thought, oh, okay, yeah. So and obviously because I followed it through for my brother from there, really. And yeah, I mean, we're still here ever since that. Cheers, bro, for making me a Washington fan. Because now we're still losers. So, so very painful being a Washington fan. But I say, over the past few years, it's been great, meeting new people and stuff like that. And obviously, the tide's now turning, and I can't wait to see us starting to actually be decent for a change.
Can't echo that enough. Well, for me, Cameron, my story is basically I started following the game really because I'm ex-military and I had US service personnel on my camp. And then they were having Super Bowl parties, all that sort of stuff. I kind of watched little bits and pieces, here and there, no real interest. Just thought, yeah, this is okay. A couple of my friends who obviously was when we were staying in single accommodation would be playing Madden. Started to get in watching Madden, looking at that and thinking, this is okay. You know what I mean? I don't mind this. And then, I had a bit of a following here and there. They followed Green Bay. They followed Chicago Bears. There's a few here and there. And I had no real interest in, being an NFL fan as a whole. Liked rugby union and thought, you know what, I'll start watching this game. And I watched highlights from a New York Giants away game in MetLife 2011. And we won. We were well down in the fourth quarter, and we came back to win. And I was like, Mark Rippon's quarterback, and I thought, this is pretty cool. And then the explosion of obviously RG3 in the draft. I watched the draft. It was my first draft watch. He got obviously traded up. He came, and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. So it's all your fault, RG3. Yeah, Robert, I'm talking to you. It's your fault. I've seen nothing but losing. Also at the same time. My wife will tell you I've got an affiliation for pretty much supporting horrible teams in sports. I'm a Newcastle Falcons fan who they never win. They haven't won a game all season. I'm a Carlisle United fan who have just been relegated to the league below. And I'm a Washington fan. So if you want to hate on me, then come on over. It's all my fault. But no, in all seriousness, as Scouse said, the tide's turning, and that's kind of where we are at the minute. So yeah, my fandom's still really young, but it's crap watching horrible football every weekend.
Every weekend. It's really good weekend, doesn't it?
It does. It's not fun for anybody, is it?
I mean,
going in Monday morning and you're like, I'm back in Monday morning, in for the working week. And
I suppose I'm lucky to a certain extent. I support a good team in actual English football, but even then, the last couple of weeks have been pretty grim for us as well. Lost a few games that we shouldn't have, and it's not good. But yeah, man, it's better being us. We obviously had a lot of success over the past kind of 3 years, something like that, 4 years under Klopp, and so I'm a bit lucky in that respect. If I had the Carlisle love, then I'd be devoted. You know what I mean?
I mean, look, we did get promoted into this league, so I can't. You know what I mean? I can't moan at it, so it's all right. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I'm saying
so. Yam, there was a thread on Twitter too that Jaden's agent, while working on for one agency, was taking money from them and using it towards athletes and prospects at a completely different agency. Wow, okay, bit of embezzlement there. Allegedly. Yeah. So please don't, you know what I mean, fire anything our way.
So this guy's allegedly shady, then, isn't he? So he's a little bit shady.
So Yams also said there wasn't enough evidence for them to pursue a case.
Yeah, so they can't prove it. But obviously, there was whispers about it.
We'll leave it there.
What I tell you, smart enough to get away with it, but still a bit ropey. Yeah.
We'll finish it off, Scouse, with Scott G's final question in the chat, or submitted to us, sorry. He has said, who would dominate in Top Golf amongst the trio of sister podcasts? So we're talking the Bleeding Burgundy Pod, the Bunker, and the 1 Point Safety Show. So we have Scotty, Scouse, Burrows, Jesse, John, and Keith. Who is winning at the golf? If we all went golfing, well, I tell you now, it ain't.
Yeah, 1 Point Safety ain't going to win that one.
No chance. I did not play the promotion sticks. I've had them before.
I try, but I'm not as good as these lads.
Nowhere near.
Burrows is very good.
I would say it's between Burrows and Jesse. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he did mention Kyle, did he? Burgundy's on. Did mention Burgundy's on? Did they? No,
but even so, we can add them in. I mean, Kyle's a very good golfer. Yeah.
So these Keith's awful. Forget about that. I mean, Keith's like me.
And... Keith, John, Reed, and you, we're all in the clubhouse just having a drink. Yeah.
I'll be the guy driving around on the buggy while they're playing. You know what I mean?
That's I might do a bit of caddy to get some steps in. That's about it. Yeah, but there you go. So Yam's put a question in here saying, I have a question. If each of these, let's say 4 main guys, made Daniels, McCarthy, Mix, were superheroes or villains, who would they be? What a question that is. What a question that is. Okay, so do you want to take 2 then, and I'll take 2? You want me to start it off? I'll give it a whirl. Okay. I would say that Jaden Daniels, dark and mysterious, could be Batman, and that's not a racial slur, by the way. That is, he is. Yeah, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know where he's going to come from. He's got obviously the speed as well of there. So could he be someone like the Flash? I don't know. Just trying to put it out there. What else could you say? McCarthy. God. This is a tough question. Yeah, you probably put us on the spot.
We're not massively into those kind of films, are we?
No, not at all. I'm
going to say May is Iron Man. That's what I'm going to say.
Good call.
Absolute beast.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's
Captain America for McCarthy. America's sweetheart. You know, he's won the championship. He's he's come from the Harbaugh team. You know, at Ann Arbor, Michigan. You know, I'm the guy. Yeah, that's that. Penix, I don't know. Has he got long arms? Could he stretch? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Real difficult, man. I mean, so we're not really big into those kind of character type, superhero type things. No. To be fair, what I'm going to say is because of Daniels' agent, I'm going to say Daniels is the Joker.
Good shout. That's his agent is the Joker.
Yeah. So see that one. Phoenix. I'm gonna put. He should be a good guy. I think Phoenix. He should be a good guy, not a villain. But no.
Superman because the ball flies. Superman because the ball flies out of his hands. I don't know.
Superman. What do you get? Scott, so what do you mean by real good? I think he means by the golf players, how good they are. The single digit.
Oh, okay. The single digit. Kyle's single digit. So's Burrows, yeah.
Yeah, I think Burrows, I think he mentioned to me last time, is what 8, I think he is. And I think
Kyle
pretty similar, maybe 6, something like that. So they're pretty good level. I don't know about Jesse. I don't know what Jesse is, but
I do know he's a pretty good golfer. So
yeah, he's pretty decent as well.
When I say pretty good, Scott, I mean in comparison to us.
Yeah. I mean, professionals, you know what I mean? But obviously they're very good for part-time, golfers. That's solid. Yeah, solid. Yeah, they're single digits. Yeah, so at the best.
There you go. Yeah, that about wraps us up, Scouts. But thank you to everyone who submitted a question: Scott G, Rod, Alison, Darren Hafferley, Tony Shivers, Richard Cameron, Jesse, Tony Wheat, Cameron McDonald. I also missed a question, so I apologise, and it is an apology. I have got it written down. It's Hot Take Freddie. How can we miss you off, Freddie? Freddie Ham, former host of the HT We Are pod and The Bunker. Shout out to Freddie. He said, since the Commanders didn't meet any of the top offensive lineman prospects, is it really much of a possibility of trading back into the first round for one? They haven't met with Latham, Mims, and Fatanu, but they have met with Morgan, Guyton, and Amagaji.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking at the kind of the meat inside of things, now again, it depends who you go off, what logic you're going off. Like if you're going off logic, say, of the old Ron Rivera era, where he's saying, "Oh, we didn't need to interview this guy because we knew all about him," right? So that means that would completely make you think, well,
anything's in play there. Anything's in play.
And you're going to go up to try and get him to see what I mean. But if you're going to go by the normal, usual logic, which is obviously not Ron, which is anti-Ron, it's going to be there's no point to them going up back into the first to get an Amagaji. You can get him at 36 or 40. I think you can get him there. So
even lower than that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, he is going to go high. He is going to go in a second. And same with the other chap you mentioned there. Who was the other one he said?
Morgan. So it's Morgan from Arizona. Yeah.
It was a Guyton.
Or Guyton. Yeah, hang on. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Morgan, Guyton, and Amagaji.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, 2 of those 3 will probably be available at 36 or 40. So, I don't see us go. If you're thinking like we're meeting these guys because we love them, then we've got to think of it as don't need to go up because two of those 3 are going to be there. I think when we pick in the second round. If you're the Ron Rivera era, then you're going to be looking at JC Lade, and then you'll be looking at coming up into the first to try and get one of those. For Fatu and Fraga, all those guys. Okay, so you're going to have to go back up if you really want one of those 3. So it just depends, really. You can say it's all smoke and mirrors, man. You just don't know which way you're going to go. Normal logic would say stay where they're at if they haven't really looked into these guys, or maybe they have and we just don't know about it. You know what I mean? So,
Scouse, that just about does us, mate. I appreciate you being on with us. If you want to, please like and subscribe to the video. Obviously, we are giving away the merch again. I'll show you. I'll put a hat on here. So I've got a burgundy snapback with the Washington 1-point safety shoe logo. And we also have the Benny hat as well here. I'll put that one on as well so you can see that, the beanie. It looked a bit stupid there because my background was going in and out. But yeah, like, subscribe, and comment on the bottom of the video when we finish the stream. Comment on who you think won the top golf out of the 4 quarterbacks. So just put JJ, Penix, put JD or May, write them in. And what we'll do is we'll give you till 3 p.m. next Wednesday. So 3 p.m. Wednesday, we'll collate all of the comments under the stream. And then once we've done that, we'll do the random wheel generator, which will spin twice. And whoever gets pulled off the random wheel generator will win the prizes. And it doesn't matter if you're in the US, if you're in the UK, if you're in Japan, if you're in Ireland, we'll send it to whoever wants to be there. So like, subscribe, and put that comment underneath. Trying to get 200 likes on this video. Really appreciate you all being in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Scott G, Yam, K Hart. We've also got Brian in there. We've got Loey, who's been in with us as well. Aled's been in with us all show. Everybody who's been in the chat, really appreciate you being on with us. This is our way of giving back to you. And don't forget also to go on to www.oddballs.com. And they will have, if you want to buy some funky boxer shorts, that sort of thing, go on there and have a look at them. But in between 3 and 5 weeks, they'll also be having our merch on there. So, yeah, go out there and give it a shout. Shout out to Deluxe as well, mate, for being on with us. So, yeah, perfect. And we'll see you again next week, guys. And that next week, Scouse, it's draft night. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Typical, though, isn't it? You know, we're going to be doing our weekly pod just before it, but, you know, obviously we'll have lots to talk about the week after.
Lots to talk about. Take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.